Okay, if you're traveling to Europe this summer, do not make the mistake of relying on your home carrier for data. That would be really bad. Instead, consider getting yourself a regional Europe eSIM. I've just been to Ireland, Italy, France, and Switzerland, and I use Saily's regional eSIM the whole time. And in this video, I'll take you through how it works and also what my experience was like in Europe using Saily. And I'll show you how the additional features like their built-in VPN work, and we'll even compare Saily with popular providers like Airalo and Holafly to see how they stack up on price. So here's what you need to know about Saily's Europe eSIM. It works across 35 countries, so you don't have to mess about installing a new plan every time you cross a border. Just pick your data amount, install it once, and it'll automatically connect when you land. Every plan includes built-in ad blocking, web protection, and something called virtual location, which works a bit like a lightweight VPN. So not only are you avoiding roaming charges, but you're also protecting your privacy, which is especially useful if you're using public Wi-Fi or want to stop your data being eaten up by trackers and ads. The pricing, which we'll compare with other providers shortly, is pretty solid. Their 5 gig Europe plan is around $19, and the 10 is just over $34, plus you earn credits back when you top up, and you even get 15% off when you use our code Manito. But of course, the most important question is, does it even work? Well, I spent the last 3 weeks traveling through Europe, testing Saily on beaches, in the wild, up in the Alps, and even on trains. Okay, so I'm currently in the French Alps in a town called Châtel, but that's not where I first arrived. I actually flew into Switzerland or Geneva airport and then got a train from Geneva to Lausanne. And while I was on the train, you won't believe this, but I actually had strong enough signal that I could browse the internet, I was streaming video, I was working. Honestly, I did not expect that to happen on a train. After I left Lausanne, I headed to the French Alps where I am right now, and when I crossed the border, I never really lost connection. It's been really impressive. The speeds have been really fast, even though we are in the middle of nowhere in a pretty remote spot, actually surrounded by mountains. And of course, in typical fashion, the Wi-Fi here is I can't rely on it. Like, I tried to use it to make video calls home, but WhatsApp wouldn't connect. That is my home network, just stuck on connecting. Normally I would rather use Wi-Fi than data, but in this case I've had to rely on the Saily eSIM. So Saily performed really well throughout the 3 weeks I spent in Europe. In Sicily, I was pretty impressed with how well it worked on the beach. In France, it was like ridiculously good high up in the Alps. And in Ireland, we went over to Connemara National Park and actually had service. And this place was really remote. So I think it's obvious that Saily's a good choice for coverage and speed, but what about price? As you'd expect, Saily, Holafly, Airalo all offer a range of plans based on how much data you want and how long you're traveling. But when you line them up side by side, the differences are pretty obvious. Saily has solid coverage across 35 European countries, and their pricing is actually really competitive. A 5 GB plan for 30 days is $19.49, which works out to be about $3.90 per gigabyte. And if you go bigger, say 50 or even 100, that price drops to as low as $1.80, which is honestly one of the cheapest I've ever seen. They've also got a 15-day unlimited plan, but that does come with a 5 GB per day high-speed cap. After that, it slows down, which is pretty standard for unlimited plans. Except in my experience with Holafly, this cap was as low as 1 GB, so be very cautious. Airalo offers slightly wider coverage, 42 countries, and they've got a similar range of plans, but the pricing is just a bit higher across the board. And then there's Holafly. They focus pretty much entirely on unlimited plans, which is great if you hate the idea of running out, but that convenience comes at a cost. Their 7-day plan is nearly $30, and a full 30 days of unlimited data is almost $75. So that's definitely pricey. So I think if you're trying to save money and want a plan that's secure and gives you the most value per gig, Saily is the best choice. I mean, they just tick most boxes. You get low prices, pretty strong performance, at least in my experience, and added features that most providers just don't offer. And before I show you those extra security features and how they work, let's just go ahead and purchase and install a Saily eSIM. So first, you're going to need to download the app. Then once you're in, tap Explore Plans, then select Regional Plans, and then Europe. After that, just choose how much data you want, and if you're going for more than a few days, I'd recommend the 10 GB plan, and when you get to checkout, don't forget to enter the code Manito. You can pay using Apple Pay or Google Pay, and once that's done, Saily walks you through the installation step by step. If you're on iPhone, you'll get a pop-up asking if you want to allow the installation. Just tap allow, then tap continue. Now, this next bit is really important. Don't close the app or switch screens while it's activating. You should see messages like connecting to network, followed by mobile plan setup complete. Once that appears, your eSIM is ready to go. From there, just select secondary, that's your new eSIM, change the label to something recognizable, whatever you want, and then select it as your new mobile data plan. Now, something else that also makes Saily really stand out is that, and one of the reasons I really like them, is the built-in security tools. Inside the app, you'll find a feature called virtual location, which lets you route your internet connection through a different country. It's kind of like a lightweight VPN, and it's especially handy if you're traveling in places with restricted content, or perhaps you just want extra privacy. There's also an ad blocker, which I found genuinely useful. When you're browsing sites packed with pop-ups or those bloody annoying autoplay video ads, this helps cut all of that out and even saves data because every ad that loads is using up part of your allowance. And finally, they include something called web protection, which actively blocks known malicious websites. So you basically don't end up accidentally stumbling into something dodgy or perhaps clicking a link that could infect your phone. And all of this is included in the cost of the eSIM. There's no premium plan or upgrade required. You just buy your data and these features are there ready to use. Now, Saily also has an experiences section, and while we were in Northern Ireland, I actually used it to book an Alpaca trekking experience. Unfortunately, I ended up getting food poisoning, so we had to cancel that. But I did get a refund with no questions asked. I just emailed Saily and they sorted me out. That actually gave me a lot of confidence in both the experiences and Saily overall. So yeah, after 3 weeks of using Saily across 4 countries, I think it's fair to say it's one of the best Europe eSIMs I've tested so far. You get broad coverage, 35 countries on one plan, great speeds, and useful features like ad blocking and virtual location. Plus, it's cheaper than most of the competition, and even cheaper if you use our code Manito. Just make sure to install your eSIM before you fly, so you're good to go the moment you land. And that's it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Otherwise, enjoy your trip, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.